Hello, church. We're looking at 1 Samuel chapter 22 today for our daily Bible reading. Word of the day is consequences or results. So in the next few chapters, we're going to read about how David is constantly fleeing and running from King Saul, as Saul wants to kill him for the fact that he's going to take over the kingdom of Israel. And so on the very start of the chapter, first two verses shows us that it's not just David, right? Even David's family life is in danger, right? Because King Saul knows that, well, hey, if maybe he can kill his brothers or his parents, that could cause some issues there too, or use them as hostages or whatever. And so we're told that David departs to the cave of Adullam. His brothers and his father's household goes to meet him as well. But then it's interesting. Look at verse 2. What does it describe about these people? Are these the strongest, the bravest, the best people that are gathering around David as this one who's kind of leading a very silent, slow coup over the king of Israel? This is how it describes them. It says, everyone who is in distress, and everyone who is in debt, and everyone who is discontented gathered to him, and he became captain over them, and now there were about 400 men with him. So once again, David has this group of people in distress, people who are in debt, people who are not happy with how things are going, to the tune of just 400 men. Now, it might seem like a pretty good size, but we're going to see King Saul has thousands of men in his army. And so once again, it's another outplaying of this David versus Goliath, right? One man versus a giant, and now a man with a small army versus another man with a giant army. What's the difference? God is with David. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be challenges and consequences and results of previous actions. So from yesterday, we read about how David went to the temple at Nob, and the priest helped him. Well, the priest didn't know that David and Saul were having these issues with one another, and Saul ends up having that priest and all the priests, up to 85 men, killed for helping David. Once again, not what David thought was going to happen necessarily, but he was acting foolishly, and his foolish choices led to all these men being slaughtered. And so we have to realize, once again, we don't always know the unintended consequences of our actions. So that's why it's imperative and important for us to always try to be wise, make good decisions, do things that are pleasing and honoring to God, so that ourselves and that those around us or those affected by our decisions would be minimal. All right, so that's the word of the day, church, is results or consequences. Let's be wise, make good decisions, because we don't know what the ramifications that may come down the line with our bad decisions. All right, church, have a great day.